I mean, if you just watched what's happening every time there was a bomb going off in Baghdad, you'd think the whole country's aflame.
So what made you then transfer from Dominica into the U.S.? What was the...
Well, I grew up in Dominica until the age of about 15. The names of the villages I mentioned, I went to school over there, and I went to Goodwell Junior High School, and then on to Dominica Grammar School, where I went for a period of 3 years. I left Dominica in 1972, moved to Bermuda, stayed there for 2 years, came back to Dominica. And in 1975, I went to live with my mother in St. Croix, Virgin Islands.
Okay, so that was the transition from Dominica into the U.S.
Yes.
And so how did you transfer into the U.S. Army? What made you decide to get enrolled?
Well, my younger brother, Eric Benjamin, who resides now in San Diego, California, he joined the Navy after graduating from Central High School in St. Croix at the age of 17.
Okay.
While he was in the Navy, he talked to me about the armed forces, and I at the time was working at Hess Oil, Virgin Islands. I was a supervisor in a refinery, in the marine department.
Okay.
And I left there back in 1978, came up to New York, and I resided in New York. And while in New York, I decided to join the armed forces of the United States.
Okay.
So I went to a recruiter, and we had a discussion. I took the exam, passed the exam, and then I went through the whole process.
Okay.
And I got accepted into the New York Army National Guard.
Okay.
I was sent to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, where I did basic training, and went to AIT.
Okay.
My specialty, which is MOS in the military, is mechanic.
Okay.
I work on trucks, I repair trucks and stuff like that.
Okay. So basically we talked a little bit before, and even if you repair trucks, you still have to go through the rigorous training of the military as well.
Yes.
So
yes.
Tell us a little bit more of that type of training you endure.
Well, in the military, you do physical training, which we call PT. Every morning you have to get up about 4:30. You gotta go out and you do your stretch exercises. You run. You do different various types of exercises. Once you complete that, then you do whatever training is assigned for that day. The weapons qualification. You go into the gas chamber where you put your gas mask on, they take you out, and then they have this chemical burning in there and ask you your name and all that, good stuff. And
to keep you focused almost.
to keep you focused,
right.
But this thing is burning your eyes, it's going into your lungs, and
wow.
You're going crazy. Then you come out of that gas chamber and you get out there, and some people vomiting, some people crying, some people screaming. I mean,
wow.
it's tough.
It sounds very tough.
Yes, it is.
So how do you deal with it though?
You gotta have peace of mind. You have to be determined. We know that the end reward of hard work. the end reward of hard work is the reward that comes at the end is getting some of the stuff I have on my chest over here.
Tell us a little bit about the stuff you have on your chest right over there.
Some of the stuff I have on my chest over here, it's the bars that you get for every medal that you get from the Army. And every one that represents a medal that I received from the Army.
It looks to me like you have a lot. So
Yes.
if we could get a close shot of some of the different stripes, some of the different awards that he has, that's pretty awesome. And earlier on, I know he talked about having more than one. You almost get like a leaf or bronze.
A cluster leaf.
A cluster leaf.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it looks pretty decorated there, as you can tell. And the stripes, tell us about the stripes on your
Well, the
left
silver
arm.
one over here, which is that cluster leaf with the dagger across it, that is what you call a combat action badge, which is a CAB. That shows that you've been in combat in Iraq and you either got injured or you got shot up and you engaged the enemy. So the Army gives you that as a representative that you've been in combat. On my shoulder here, there's bars across here. So every 3 years you go into the Army, you get one of those to represent the amount of years you're going to have. I'm in my 24th year, so now I got to add one more onto here. The wranglers on my shoulder is 3 stripes, so that's a sergeant, which in the Army that's a non-commissioned officer. The patch up here, that's the Rainbow Division, 42nd Infantry Division, which is the unit I first deployed with in Iraq. And over here, this is the 3rd Army patch, which is a combat patch, which means I was assigned to that unit and I was authorized to wear the patch as a combat patch.
Wow.
Over here, we have this horizontal badge, which represents 6 months of every time you go overseas, you get one of these for 6 months
Okay.
overseas. So I spent almost 4 years in Iraq.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you spent 4 years in Iraq,
Yes.
and then after that you basically came back here. I know we can't go too much into Iraq, but just give us a general idea of what Iraq
Many in
was.
this chamber understand that America must not fail in Iraq, because you understand that the consequences of failure would be grievous and far-reaching.
Was, to me and a lot of my fellow soldiers, was like hell. We experienced stuff that we never experienced before, like for instance, the temperature will get to about 140 degrees.
Wow, and you still have that very
And
heavy
you have all
uniform.
this uniform on you, you have
Yeah.
your Cavalier, you have your M4, you have your gas mask, you have a 9mm, you have 210 rounds of ammunition and magazines on you.
Wow.
You have your IBA, which weighs approximately about 60 pounds, with the SAPI plates back and front. You have your camelback on your back, which is a little bag that we carry on the back with water. You have a little tube that you can drink water. When you go to Iraq, basically 90% of the time you don't actually work in your MOS. Whatever they need you for, that's what you're going to be doing. But my job basically...
Tell us what the MOS is before, so that those who
MOS
don't
is
know what
Military Occupational Specialty.
Okay.
And you'll go to school, the Army sends you to school and train you in something that you're going to be assigned to do in the military.
Okay. So once you're back, once you're in Iraq, you're not really doing what your MOS basically states, but you're doing whatever is called for.
Right.
Correct? Okay.
Right. Based on your experience, based on your time and your knowledge in the military,